Well, hello, I'm Dr. Julia Royston, and welcome to another edition of Live Your Best Life, where I strive to bring you people, places, things, information, and tools to help you live your best life. And I have a young woman here today that we have clearly a kindred spirit. We are in the literary world. So, I don't have no problem with other people being in the literary world because with 9 billion people on the planet, there's enough, as they say, there's enough room for us all. So
Yes.
I'm super excited that she's on with me today. So what I want you to do first, I want you to get your pen and paper, get your phone out, open up your social media so you can find her, and as well as her website, so you can follow her and be blessed by her. If you need her services, be sure and reach out. And then we have some exciting things to really talk about and discuss, because when two publishers get together, anything is subject to happen.
Anything can happen.
So, Miss Tenita Johnson, introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, and give us your website and your social media.
Hey, Julia, thanks so much for having me. I am what many know as Tenita Bestseller Johnson. I am a publisher, ghostwriter, and book coach, the best-selling author of 20 plus books. Julia, honestly, I just stopped counting. I just keep writing the next book.
That's what we do. You keep
Yeah,
writing.
yeah. And so the name of my company is So It Is Written, and we literally have the ability to help people write one book in 60 days that can boost their brand in the marketplace. A lot of people are not writing the correct book. They have a book, but it's not their brand signature book. So we help them get that book done, and then we help them build out 7 to 12 streams of income tied to that one book. So our website is soitiswritten.net. And then my personal website, if people would like to book me, find out more about me, tenitajohnson.com is my website.
And
All social media outlets are Tenita Bestseller, and you'll find me.
wonderful. Tenita
Yeah.
Bestseller, that's Tenita.
Yes.
Tenita Johnson, Tenita Bestseller. Find her on social media. So I've got to ask you first, how did you fall in love with writing, or what was your favorite first book, or how did you get into the book business period?
Yeah, I fell in love with writing as a child. I was raised by a single mother who had me at 14. So there were not many outlets for me to speak my mind, so to speak. So the pages and the pen were like my best friend. I am the only child, and she never had any more kids. So I was raised half of the time by my grandmother, and then as I got older, by my mother. But that's when I fell in love with writing, because the pages didn't talk back to me. The pages didn't refuse me. I could do what I want to do with the pen. So, and I actually took the traditional journalism route. So I went to journalism school. I thought I would work for a newspaper as editorial director or as a reporter. And we see where the newspaper industry is today. It's almost obsolete.
Right.
So that was short-lived. I ended up actually working in a lot of corporate America, Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, Detroit's local light and gas company, DTE Energy. All of these corporations have corporate communications departments. So I ended up doing corporate work first, and then I shifted to the creative. So I've been the editorial director for Career Master Magazine, Hope for Women Magazine, and I've just made the shift probably the last 4 or 5 years to solely focus on books and publishing and speaking.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. So, I mean, that's got to be, for me, reading was just ever since I could read. I
Yeah.
was reading everything I could get my hands on, but I really wasn't encouraged to write in school. And I don't know what
Yeah.
that is. I mean, I haven't figured that out. I don't know if teachers are too busy or what. I'm currently working with some young people on a community venture, and we're writing a book. We received a grant, thank God, for a community venture to work with children. We're coming to the close of it because school is about to start at this taping. But
Yes.
I'm finding that children are just discovering that they write well. They
Yes.
write all the
Yes.
time and they love it, but it's like something like a hidden secret. Like it's like some horrible hidden secret that they're not encouraged
Yes.
to write. I mean, I know you fell in love with it for healing for you, but
Yeah.
what does that, I mean, did anybody encourage you to do it in school?
Yeah, I remember being encouraged to write, and I remember having teachers encourage me to be on like the newspaper for our school, the yearbook team, all of the outlets that we had for writing, particularly in high school. And so, one of my favorite authors, the great Maya Angelou, I remember we had to memorize one of her poems, and I had to memorize "And Still I Rise." And
Right.
not only did I have to memorize it, but I had to act it out. So,
Oh Lord.
Pretty Women Wonder, just where my, all of the
Yeah.
things. And I had to act it out on stage. But that was so memorable for me because she was a Black woman, she was a published author, and she was successful in my eyes, and she's a legend. Like now they're putting her face on a quarter, which is huge.
Yeah, isn't that
Um,
huge?
yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's so huge, and I'm so sad that she's not here to see it. But her legacy still lives on, and so even as a dark little girl in the school system who didn't feel confident because I was dark, seeing somebody like Maya Angelou gave me that courage to speak out and say, yeah, I'm beautiful, I'm different. People may not see me as beautiful, but she told me that I was.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, you being in Detroit, the big urban cities, that
Yes,
makes a difference. But
it does.
Kentucky, that's not going. Sorry. I love my state. I was born. It's got a whole lot of issues, but for me to meet a young woman, and predominantly there's one boy, which we pulling them along, but
Mm,
there's a young woman in the group, and there's probably three or four of them in the group that are, they're great writers.
yeah.
They're like 14, 15, 16 years old. And
Hmm.
the one little girl at the last session that we had, I said, wow, you're such a great writer. Has anyone ever told you you're a good writer? She goes, never.
Wow.
So to
And
be,
see, a lot of school systems right now, they don't even have the creative writing programs or the creative writing tracks. They don't even make it visible for children to have that unless you go to like a creative arts school. So I actually went to communication and media arts high school in Detroit. So it was
oh,
specifically
okay. So yeah,
for,
yeah.
yeah, so it was specifically for children who want to go into some form of communication, whether it's broadcast or print. So yeah.
Yeah. So, so to me, I think, not having any biological children of my own. So
Mhm.
therefore, I'm probably more adamant now than ever to pour into the next generation of creatives
Yes.
that have these little, as they say, they may have the little 80 count.
Yep.
Spiral notebooks was where we all started, where I started,
Yep.
and they're hiding them. They're
Yeah.
not free to say, what do you think? I've been writing. What do you think? Whatever. So to be able
Mhm.
to provide that level of space, wonderful for you to be in that space and to be in that type of high school. That's phenomenal. But for me to be meeting in 2022 young people who are not encouraged in the
Yeah.
creative side, and that's the reason why I'm working on two books right now. I got one for younger ones, and then one that I'm going to do. It just talked about being a cool creative, and it's going to have all kinds of writing and journaling and create pages and design and all that. And I
Yeah.
really am on a rampage to really encourage young people who are creatives. You're not athletic, so you're
Yeah.
nothing. If you don't put a
Yeah.
ball in a hoop, if you can't get the football across the finish line to score a
Yeah.
touchdown, if you can't hit that ball into the stands and do a home
Mhm.
run, you're nothing.
Yeah. And so people,
Like,
unfortunately, society doesn't necessarily see value in the creative arts. But I'm here to tell you, I believe me and you, Julia, we are running multi-million-dollar businesses because the writing gift is unlimited. So you
yes.
unlock books, then you unlock films, then you unlock documentaries, you unlock stage plays, you unlock courses. There's so many things where you can repurpose your writing and make money from it. So I'm living in an unlimited space of abundance right now.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean,
I know a lot of
yeah.
people see it as, oh, they used to call it starving artists. I'm like, writers are not starving artists.
No. And with technology, it's taken it to a whole nother level, because
Yes.
I have an author who's in Chicago, And so she's published 2 books, one inspirational devotionals, and another one is fiction, and it's wonderful. But now she's writing the copy for websites for corporations. So
See,
now she's getting paid by corporations to just write the copy for
the right copy.
to write the copy for the website, to write the copy for their newsletter that goes out, to write the copy for whatever to help sell, because that's the level of writer that she's on. I'm like,
It's so
okay, do
good.
y'all know how the movie starts? The movie
Yeah,
starts with the writer who wrote the
yeah.
script.
Who wrote
Hello.
the script?
Yeah. I'm like, the
Yeah,
movie starts, the screenplay, everything starts with the writer. So
that's right.
hello, come on, writers. We're not gonna starve. We're not gonna
Yeah,
die
we're
out.
not starving.
No, we're
Yeah,
not
you just
starving.
gotta keep unlocking that gift and the next gift box and the next gift box. I promise you, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
It definitely does. And I often tell the story of being in 5th grade and my teacher saying, you got an A on the assignment, but she didn't like my handwriting. And when she said she
Uh,
didn't like my handwriting, so I used to get a big F at the top, and then she would underscore it, like a fraction, and then she
right.
would put a small letter A, and I was like, I failed the assignment. I thought I
Like,
did
what
it
does
right.
that mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
the F was the handwriting. I don't like
Uh,
your handwriting. And then she would throw a handwriting book at me. And so handwriting, as I really never did have a good, I wish she was here today. I'd be like, who cares about my handwriting?
like, look at me now.
Look at
Yeah.
me now. So anyway, so she, that really deterred me. So that makes me even more angry when I hear of somebody, even today. I mean, 5th grade, Lord, I was 10 years old. That's almost 50 years ago, because
Yeah.
I'll be 60 in 2023. So, that's 50 years ago. And I'm still knowing that somebody is not being encouraged to write, that somebody
That's
is not
right.
being inspired to say, oh yeah, you are a good writer. It took me to college, my second master's, before a professor said, oh no, you write very, very well. You're just always
Yeah.
gonna need an editor, but you write very well. I'm
And
like,
guess what? I'm an editor who uses editors. It's okay.
yes, we all do. We all
Yeah.
have to have an editor. I tell people, I said, oh no, I've written 70 books. I've always had an editor for everything I do. So don't worry about
Always.
that. So anyway, we're gonna take a break right here. We're gonna be back with more. And we're back. I'm Dr. Julia Royston with Miss Tenita Bestseller Johnson. Oh my gosh, I've got so many questions rolling around in my head. I don't quite know where to start, but hopefully you've already been to her website, and you found her on social media, Tenita Bestseller, and you're following her for all new releases and where she is and all that good stuff. So so I'm gonna try to pick one of these many questions that's rolling around in my head, because when you get somebody into writing and loving it and in business and all that, like you, woo, it's always good and always refreshing. The Bible tells
Yes.
us iron sharpens iron, so
Oh,
it
yes.
enables us to really be our best self and do the best that we can. So
Yes.
so let's start with, we've talked about journalism and working in corporate America, but when did you write your first book and what was it?
Yeah, so I wrote my first book in 2010. It's called 100 Words of Encouragement, Tidbits of Inspiration. And that is my first and only audiobook so far. So I went into the studio, I recorded the audiobook myself. I have it in ebook form, paperback form. I actually published with the Independent Press out of Dayton, Ohio. But it's been 12 years since I published my first book. And honestly, Julia, it started as a series of emails of encouragement to friends. And a friend of mine was keeping them and I didn't know. And I got to like 87 and she was like, I've been keeping all of these. You should put them in a book. And that's how the book was written.
I think I met you at the Dayton Book Festival. Were
Oh,
you
Dayton
ever
Book
there?
Expo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I was like,
the organizer
your
Valerie.
face. That's
Yeah, the
where it
organizer
is.
Valerie was my publisher.
Yes.
Great
Okay,
friend now.
Valerie.
Yep.
All right. I'm like, I was along the window and I think you were like 2 rows over.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, see how
Yep.
God
See,
brings
it
it all the
comes
way
full
around.
circle.
Oh my gosh. And I'm like, okay, I know I met you I thought I met you the first time, but I'm like, no, I've seen this lady before.
Dayton
I'm
Book
like,
Expo. Now my hair wasn't red then, but yeah,
no, it
because they
wasn't
don't.
red. No,
Yeah, because they don't have Dayton Book Expo anymore. I don't think they're doing it anymore.
no, she's partnered with somebody else. But
Yeah.
okay. So who we're talking about is Valerie Lewis Coleman.
Yeah.
who is a book coach,
She's a publisher.
a
Yeah.
publisher in Dayton, Ohio. Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
you
She
know,
trained me to publish.
yeah. So when people come up and say, "I didn't know there were any black pub," oh boo, there's a whole network of
There's a
us.
whole lot of
There's a
black
whole
publishers.
lot of us that
Yeah.
are out there making it happen, doing it how we do on our grind. That just the world hasn't,
Yeah.
found us yet
Discovered.
or
Hmm.
know about us yet. But there's a whole lot of us out there who are
Yeah.
helping people bring their books to life. I'm sorry, I just had a little sidebar because I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, I remember you. Oh my
Dayton Book
goodness.
Expo. Hmm.
So that is one of the first things that I really encourage people when I find out some things that they do, when they're like, I don't know what to write about, I don't know where to start, I don't know, and they're posting stuff all the time.
All the time. You got content coming out of the wazoo. Yeah. Yeah. People just don't know how to repurpose it. And then I did a second version of 100 Words of Encouragement. It's called Driven to Dream. And I kid you not, they are a series of Facebook posts that I had an admin pull down off Facebook and put into a book.
Yeah.
It's that simple. 100 Words of Encouragement Part 2. I could do a Part 3 if I wanted now, because all I need is somebody to just go to my Facebook posts, which are motivational and inspirational, and pull them down into a Word document.
Right. So
Yeah.
there is no reason why, especially if you're in business. Now, I tell people all the time, especially if you're in business, you need a book that go
Yes.
along with your business. You
To
really
boost your brand in the marketplace. Yes.
Okay, hold on to that thought, because I have to ask you, making that transition for writing for others to writing your own book and having your own book. So what did that feel like? What was that like?
It was always a dream of mine, but it was just a dream. And I don't even remember how I met Valerie J. Lewis Coleman. I think I met her online at Chocolate Pages, which was run by Pam Perry at the time, which doesn't even exist anymore.
I know. I followed Pam Perry for 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. So it
and
was
still do.
Yeah, so it was an online platform for African American writers called Chocolate Pages. And I think we kind of met on there, and Valerie was allowing me then to edit her clients' books because she needed an editor. And so I started my business solely as an editing service. I wasn't offering publishing, I wasn't book coaching, I wasn't writing bios or press releases. I was just editing for independent authors because I wanted their books to be sharp and polished. And so from there, literally, I was like, okay, I'm already connected to Valerie. She can publish my first book. I think I might have spent like $2,500 to publish my first book. And then surprisingly, it was cheaper for me to do the audio book in studio than it was to publish the paperback.
Right.
So, yeah.
Most definitely. Especially when when you go in the studio and you're ready.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've done a lot of, so my transition was, my first book was poetry. So I made the transition. I've always sang. So therefore, my first book of poetry, I did a one-woman show with reading my poetry and doing my music, because I write music.
Love it.
So I put those things together, did a one-woman show, and thought, okay, this is good. This works. It goes along with my music CDs and everything. So that's when we say creatives, that's what we mean. Writers and singers and dancers and actors and scream. All of that is what we mean when we're talking about being a creative. So that's where I thought it stopped, until 3 books later and a year later, somebody said they're going to pay me to publish their book. Yeah. So I didn't really I kind of had a mentor, but I really didn't have a publishing mentor. So therefore, when that first happened, I was, didn't charge enough, a lot of things, but she did what she said she was going to do, pay me the amount I said. So that was on me of the amount, because I said it. And then,
don't tell me it was like $500 or something.
Oh yeah, baby. It was. It might have been less than that.
Ooh.
You girl.
I'm like, that's the cover. That's the cover design by itself.
Well, I know that now 15 years later, but I didn't know it then. I was like, I was scared to death. I was like, no, I can't really charge that much, because I don't even know if they would pay that much. And oh my God, I don't, if you knew me, the background of me, you'd be like, You were doing good to charge whatever she charged, because it was just I was not fully in. It took me years to really take it up. I mean, it was basically like $100 a year. So
Oh my
probably
gosh.
5 years, I was still probably at 597,
1,000.
690. I was less
Yeah.
than 1,000. It took me years to get there. And so
Wow.
now I understand my worth and I know my worth. And so, and there's a lot that comes along with me, because people ask me all
Yeah.
the time, so why do I need you? Why don't I self-publish? I said, yeah, you can do it on your own.
You can try to do it on your own, but it'll be jacked up and the world will know that you did it on
Yeah,
your own.
yeah, yeah. Now some
Hire the
people who
professional.
self-publish have done halfway decent, but then some of them got the chapters on the wrong page, the table of contents
Exactly.
ain't right, the page numbers is all everywhere.
Table of contents is
Yeah,
jacked, the cover's
yeah,
jacked.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. And
Yeah,
the
we could
cover
talk
is one
about
of the
that for
main.
days.
Yeah, the cover is one of the main things that always gets me, is like, okay, so who did you ask? And that don't even make sense. And
Nobody.
my heart goes out to him, because I know about paying and how much it costs. And I'm like, all right, if you willing to, okay, I'm gonna leave you right there.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, when you ready, you let me know. But
Let me
this
know.
is not gonna. When you get frustrated, then let's have a session, and I'll tell
Let's
you.
have a real conversation
Yeah, let's
about
have a
publishing
conversation, a
in
paid
excellence.
conversation.
Yeah,
'Cause
publishing in
that ain't
excellence.
free, no, no, no.
Yeah.
A paid conversation, because I can tell you what is the problem. The reason why your book is not selling and
It's
nobody
not
wants it,
selling.
or there's brand confusion and we don't understand what that means. And it made sense to you, but it's not making sense to a global. And I've seen so many beautiful books that didn't make sense to
Don't
nobody
make
else.
sense.
It
Yeah.
don't make sense. So with the book in hand, and now you're publishing. So what does that look like moving forward? I mean, like getting ready to coach other people, like to
Yeah.
write and publish. I mean, like is that a whole? Because it was for me. It was a whole mind shift, a whole mind adjustment, everything.
Yeah, it's definitely, I tell people it's 85% mindset, 15% skill set. It's definitely mindset. You have to have the confidence to coach people and trust and believe that you're going to get the results that you promised. So I tell people, I can help you get your book done in 60 days. I teach people how to write a 30-day devotional in 48 hours. Now, whether or not you do it in 48 hours really depends on you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because I'm not holding your hand. So I can give you the formula, but in my 60-day accelerator, I am holding your hand and I am holding you accountable. So now if you're not answering the phone and the text messages, then guess what? We can't get this book done in 60 days because you playing around. But I promise to deliver in 60 days that we can get it done. And so the other thing is, Julia, I want to interject a freebie that I want to give to your listeners so they can go to checklist.brandbookbestseller.com, checklist.brandbookbestseller.com. That's the name of my coaching program. And they'll be able to download a free checklist of everything they need to do, from the brand to the book to get to bestseller status, publishing, all the things you're going to need. They can download that checklist. But yeah, the coaching for me was a big mindset shift because, we're writers. We just want to stay in our world and write our stuff. And people are like, well, how did you, and when did you, and can you
right.
teach me? Can you? Yeah. And so today I solely have 3 packages. I don't do the a la carte $100 here, $200 here. I have done for you publishing services. I have ghostwriting services where I will personally interview and write the book for the author and they put their name on it. And then I have the done with you services, which is the Brand Book Bestseller Accelerator.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm about ready to try to figure out that a la carte thing, because what ends up happening is
they pick the
bring me
packages
something,
apart.
yeah, or they're wanting to me to fix something that's not right,
That's
and
not included
I'm
in the
like,
package.
yeah, it's not included in the package, or you want me to fix something that's out of order. I have somebody right now, they brought their illustrations, but they didn't ask me anything. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
These don't look good.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know whether that was. It's so much time trying to fix and it's not right. And I don't like the way that looks. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you want
But
me to
that's what
make
you
a,
chose. Yeah.
yeah, right.
And so I'm putting a call out for different illustrators now for my daughter's second book. Because number one, I didn't have a good experience after her first illustrator. His illustrations are great. He just wasn't a good business person.
Uh,
But I just can't. And the other thing is I can't wait 60 days for illustration. So I'm really looking for somebody who can deliver in excellence and in a timely manner, you know.
they out there. They
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
They out there. And because you usually what I find is my illustrator has delivered and the author won't respond back. That's usually I'm waiting on them to say yes, no, because I really strive to include the author in this process. I mean,
Yeah.
traditional
Oh,
houses,
absolutely. The whole way.
the whole way, but the traditional houses, I'm saying, the longer I'm in this, I understand why they do what they do. Because
Yes.
they just take it from you. They give you an advance, and when it comes out,
It's just out.
it's just
And you had
out,
no
and
say
you
so.
like, oh well, no, that advance check shuts it down, and you don't get to decide. And so
Yes.
the other day, I was thinking about that same thing, and I'm like, now I know why the traditional houses do what they do. Because
That's right.
sometimes the author doesn't understand and doesn't.
They don't understand, and they go back and forth, and all
and
the
they
things.
don't listen, and then they don't. And then when it doesn't sell, then it's my fault.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I tried to tell you, and I tried to inform you, and I tried to let you know, and I even tried by example, because there are some people who publish who don't write. Do you understand? Because they just outsource everything and they don't even write themselves. So
Right.
I have given you 70 books that are examples that are multiple genres. So you see what an inspirational book looks like. You see what a devotional book looks like. These are mine with my name on it. You see what the children's books look like. You see what a business book looks like. You see what a romance fiction looks like. You see what a contemporary fiction looks like. I got pretty much everything for you. I don't write slices and dices, but I don't know. There's some people who've died in my fiction. But my point is that you got so much examples, but your mindset and your vision is so limited. It's not marketable.
It's limited too.
Get upset. Yeah.
It's limited. And I try to get my authors to think globally, not locally.
Yes.
So if nobody knows you, if your family and friends aren't the people who are walking in the store and seeing your book on the shelf, like you really have to ask yourself, what's going to make a stranger pick up this book?
Yes. Yeah. And and will the cover and the title make sense?
That's right.
You have something when you're at those. Okay, now this is a sidebar, but we're talking on the same thing. When you go to events, like I go to events, like
Imaginarium,
I'll be a Black Woman Expo, Imaginarium, those larger events that have hundreds of people coming through, right?
Yes.
And those events, those expos have thousands. So I was at Indiana Black Expo not too long ago. They have thousands of people. Wow. And when you get people who walk by and look and stop, that's the kind of reaction you want. You don't want people walking by going, ugh, and they just keep going. They don't see, and everybody's not interested in books. I'm not saying everybody should be. But the people that are actually interested in books, when they stop and look back, or when the kids is looking and the parents is dragging them, but they still trying to look, you got something. You were on the right track. So
that's it.
So let me take a break right here, and I got more to ask. I run out of time, but we'll be right back with more. And we're back. Oh my gosh. So I hope you're understanding that you're listening in at a very conversational and camaraderie. Two publishers having a conversation. Yay! If you and I enjoy it. I love it. And I've interviewed multiple publishers, and it's the writing process and how they got started is always so interesting to me. And so be sure and follow Tenita Bestseller on all social media and find her on her website and all that good stuff, and reach out to her and purchase her books. So I've got to ask first off, we've talked about corporate and we've talked about branding. So in your definition, what is a brand book?
Yeah, so a brand book for me and you would be, 10 tips to publish on a budget or something like that. It would be something that sets you apart in the marketplace as the expert you are in your industry. Now, our industry just happens to be books. But if your industry is healthcare, then you need a book that's going to set you apart for healthcare. I tell my life coaches, that's good that you're a life coach, but what is it about your signature coaching process that gets people the results that no other life coach gets? So I also tell my clients, Julia, don't be afraid to give away your secret sauce. Tell people this is the brand book bestseller framework. Now, if you want me to help you implement that, that's when you enroll into the accelerator. But I've given you all the meat and the potatoes in the book at a high level. So I tell people, don't be afraid to give people your formula. Don't be afraid to talk about your framework that you use for your coaching or for your business. But in order to implement it, people are going to have to hire you ultimately.
Yeah.
So I tell people that brand book is the book that's going to unlock speaking engagements, documentaries, stage plays, movies, films, online coaching programs, webinars, all the things that come along with it. So you'll see me branding brand book bestseller, the accelerator, which is my coaching program. But then next year in May of 2023, we're doing brand book bestseller live. It'll be a 3-day live event for Christian female speakers and coaches who want to boost their brand in the marketplace. It's really, my niche is very specific on who I serve. And so I tell people, be clear. The problem is a lot of people are not clear who they serve, which is why they can't write their brand book. But when you know who you serve and what problem you solve for them, the book is easy.
Right. Oh yeah. So mine is the book Business Boss.
Oh, well then,
program. So there's so mine is, I just haven't had a chance to settle in and actually
write that one brand book.
I've written several. No, my brand series is write that book now, publish that book now, and promote that book now.
Got
so
it.
that is my series, and they have
So you have your signature series.
I got my I don't go nowhere, and when it runs out, I just go into panic mode because I take it. It doesn't matter what I'm at. I take it every single solid place.
Right, but that could be a whole 90-day mastermind or accelerator for you, Julia, for you to charge people, $5,000, but you're going to come through this program, and at the end, you're going to have a book, and I'm going to teach you how to promote it. Like that's priceless.
Yeah. But finding, but me getting down off the wall to actually do that, that might be something I do for my 60th birthday. Maybe that'll be yeah. Well, I want to do a retreat too, and but yeah, I know. But and I need to do the book Business Boss, because it's all about having a book and a business, and then being a boss in your industry. What you
in your industry,
you don't necessarily what you do, what your niche is, and helping you do that. And because I have people who bring me books all the time, and I'm like, what is your connection to it? What do you do already that's related to this? And and I help people write their memoir stories, but I'm like, you still got something else with that. You just can't air your dirty laundry.
The life stories, because the life stories are not transformational. I tell people, unless it's about the reader. You really have to make it about the reader, not about you.
Right. And then you got to find out. So if you're a life coach and your story, and that's the people you serve, then we can make that connection. But just no, I don't want to coach. No, I don't want to mentor. No, I don't want to. I just want to what? I'm like,
but guess what? Every great coach has a great coach.
Yeah.
You have to be coachable. We're always learning. We're always going to the next level. Like never stop becoming a student. Yeah. We're always learning. Even though me and you, we have our publishing companies, I'm constantly changing my packages. If nothing else, I'm taking that price up. I'm tweaking the offerings that are in the packages.
Yeah. Working
I'm
on the contract.
I'm trademarking. Yeah, I'm trademarking stuff that I had never considered trademarking. And it's all because I have a business coach, not a book coach, but I have a business coach, because as creatives, we major in the creative process, and then we kind of lack on the business end. I'm crystal clear on what I
have. A lawyer. I have a trademark lawyer. I have just a regular lawyer. If I just have a question about something, I have business coaches. I have, I mean, you got to have all of those pieces. And then you have your insurance, because we do events all the time. So
Yes.
like you do events, you got to have liability insurance. I mean, some events where I go to, they require $2 million worth of insurance. So
Yeah,
you've got to
exactly.
be able to do that. Okay, so I'm running out of time. I got one more question. All right. No, I got
Yes.
two more, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so my next question is something that we all are really looking for and we all want, and that is distribution on a higher level. Now,
Yes.
Amazon is a print on demand situation where people
Yes.
can find your book online, and great. But for larger distribution, what does that look like? I mean, for to get in, and first off, let me just tell you, congratulations on your distribution deal with Meyer and Children's
Thank
Books.
you.
You're getting me wanting to settle in and do something, shift something around publishing wise to seek that, because I know a lot of people want that, but that's a specific book, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So it's my daughter's book she wrote when she was 7 years old. It's called The Nyla Chronicles, Nyla's First Day of Kindergarten. And so it's a book really about her talking about the fears that she had going into kindergarten and then realizing, okay, this was a fun first day. So it's really for those children who are coming out of daycare, or they've been with a stay-at-home mom for 5 years and now you're thrusting them into kindergarten. And a lot of kids have separation anxiety. So the book talks about how fun the first day of kindergarten was for her. So we're in 256 stores across 5 states. So Meyer picked up the book. We've been able to put 5 copies of the book in each store. So I tell people if they don't see it, that means they either haven't stocked that store yet, or they're already sold out, because they only got 5 per store. But people can always order signed copies on our website too.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, give us the website, because that's where I want you to go first.
yeah,
If you're
that's
in
right.
Myers shopping, because I got a Myers near me, so I'm gonna be
Right.
looking for the book on the shelf.
Yep.
But where can they find from your website?
Yeah, if you don't see it at Myers in the stores, you can get it at soitiswritten.net and go to the online store. You'll see all of my books, but you'll also see Nyla's First Day of Kindergarten as well.
So is that a complex process, or
It
was
was
it
it was
really
fairly
involved?
it was fairly easy for me. I had a great illustrator. The illustrations were great. And then he actually laid it out and everything for me too. I gave him the text. He laid it over the illustrations, sent me the PDF, uploaded it to print, so it was a more succinct process than it is for me when I'm working on adult books. And it was fun. You're looking at the illustrations and you're looking at the text, and so yeah.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And then
Yeah.
so distribution, that's hopefully in my future. If I
Yeah.
need a distribution coach, I know who to call, and I
Come
know who
on.
to schedule opportunity with and time with. So all
Yeah,
right,
and,
so tell
and
me.
the other thing, Julia, is I tell people a lot of people want distribution, but they have not properly published their book to position themselves for distribution. So I see a lot of self-published authors who don't have barcodes. They don't have ISBNs for their books. They accept the ISBN from Amazon. Amazon is not your publisher.
Right.
So all of those things need to be in place. You need to get a ISBN. You need to purchase one. You need to purchase a barcode. Even if you upload to Amazon, you are the publisher at that point if you are quote unquote doing it by yourself. But there are a lot of people who unfortunately are not positioned to go into stores because they don't even have a barcode on the back of the book.
Right. And they want the free barcode, they want the free ISBN number. And even though I have never trusted that. So I've always gone through the expense of having, of course, as a publisher, I have to have my own ISBN numbers.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
yeah.
always going to have them. I mean, I had 10 when
You
it
bought
was
100.
yeah, I buy them about 100.
Yeah, we buy them in the hundreds.
I'll
Yeah.
buy them in the hundreds. I buy them by the hundred. When you've written 70 books, I've done, as they say, 100 ISBNs by myself.
Just by yourself, not counting the clients.
Not
Yeah.
counting the clients. And of course, with with Ingram Spark and all of that, they require the ISBN number on the ebook now.
Yes, they
So
do.
it's required. It's not
Yes,
it's not an option.
it's not
Amazon
optional.
doesn't, and
Mhm.
and Barnes and Noble doesn't. That'll give you an inside track about, how serious are you? Are you just doing one
Mhm.
book for Big Mom and them and the family reunion? Then that's good. That's fine.
No,
You
no,
don't you
I'm
can do
I'm
a local
always
print.
Listen, Julia, I'm always about going global. I stepped out of my comfort zone. Yesterday, we were on Fox News, and I sat down and I emailed the press release to Oprah Magazine. I
Yeah.
emailed it to Steve Harvey. I emailed it to Ayanna Van Zant's team. Listen, somebody got to say yes.
Somebody got to say yes. So come on through. Yeah, but if you don't sit down and think on that level, you won't be on that level. You
That's
know, if
right.
you don't.
And some of us, we let fear stop us. So,
Yes. Yeah.
you know, it's
Or the fear of no. Oh, what if
mhm.
they say yeah, but
But what if they say
say
yes?
yes? Come on through.
Ooh, Julia,
Oh, come on, ladies. Okay,
your
let me
whole world had changed.
come on. Let's well, I tell people all the time, and we'll talk about the faith-based community in a minute. I mean, and in another show, not even in a minute, because that would take a whole hour by itself. But I'm like, you really don't need to go through denominational, and I'm a church girl, but you don't need all
Yeah,
that. Push go live and talk about what God gave you.
that's right.
And people like, well, I don't know. I was like, boo, why
Mm-mm.
that social media go live red button is free? Hit that
Exactly.
go live button and tell what Jesus said.
It's free.
Oh my goodness, Tenita Johnson, this has been a pleasure. I don't run out
Yes,
of
this has
time.
been so good.
I ain't definitely run out of questions. Believe you me, I just run out of
We
time.
got to do a part two. Yes.
Yeah, we'll, honey, don't worry. We'll end up having a big old panel somewhere. I don't know.
Yes, we probably
To
will.
talk about, because I know so many people who publish, so many people who have publishing companies. Especially, I really have a heart for the faith-based
Yes,
Christian
community. Yes.
entrepreneur. That
Yes.
community, we really need to have a whole conversation on. So to keep
Oh,
that,
yeah,
thank you.
that's a whole different
I
ball
just need
game.
to get a time and on your calendar and all that good stuff, and
Let's do it.
nail it down. All right. Thank you so much for being my guest today. It's been a pleasure. We've already got show number 2 to do.
Yes,
We've
thank
got
you,
part number
Julia.
2. And we'll be back again. I'm Dr. Julia Royston, praying today, tomorrow, and always that you live your best life.